What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ryan Meyer's Expeditions. Today we're out here, we're blue water diving again, and we got a couple awesome dudes today. We're out here with Ben Zyons. You'll remember him from my biggest uku ever video, and we got Mike Jutt. Both these guys are absolute pros. We just ran like 35 miles. So the plan here today is we're gonna hit a lot of buoys. They just got in the water over there for their first drift. We're at the first buoy of the day. It's like 1 o'clock, we got a little bit of a late start, but we're gonna stay out here all day. We're gonna fish that sunset bite. Hopefully we'll end up back at the cage right offshore home. That'll be kind of our last spot of the day. It's gonna be sick. The weather is absolutely gorgeous. Guys, if you're just starting out here, go and hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and we'll see you guys in the water.
So anytime I jump in the water at a new spot, I wanna kind of prioritize what I'm looking for. You know, as soon as you jump in, there might be available targets. You know, these small rats were around. Obviously, these oceanic white tips were coming in real hot. I didn't really know how they would kind of react to me shooting something. But on my first several drifts, I want to be looking for that monster, that marlin, that big ono, those ahis coming up. I don't necessarily want to take my first available shot. And like I've said, like you've heard many times, is you gotta let those little fish pass to get an opportunity at one of those big ones. So this was several drifts in, and I'm still kind of looking at these rats. I want one really badly. I really want to take one of these home. I love sashimi, I love sushi, I love these little baby ahis, but I know that I'd rather have that giant marlin or that 40-pound bull mahi or that big ol' actual sized ahi. So taking my time, I know that these rats will most likely be there all throughout the day, and I've got more and more opportunities at them. I was also a bit hesitant with these sharks. You know, I've done a little bit of spearfishing around oceanic white tips, but the little bit I've done in the Bahamas, like, they're different animals. Like, they will absolutely attack you the entire time. So these ones were seemingly pretty mellow. I mean, they were definitely curious, but they weren't insane. And I was really curious to know what they would do when I shot one of these little fish. So we did several drifts, and I figure, okay, nothing crazy has come along now. It's probably time to shoot something. You can see that little mahi just cruising through the chum line. Again, I'm not scaring him. He's doing his own thing. I kind of thought that maybe he was too small for this drift, and there was some little bit better rats down there. You can see like the one with the raggedy fin. That was kind of the one that I was looking for. And I figured, you know, let me try and shoot one of these rats. That mahi's probably gonna stick around. He's super chill. I'd actually end up getting him a little bit later. But for this dive, looking for those rats, get down there, get in the chum line. Unfortunately, I kind of got too deep in the chum line. You know, when there's a lot of fish around eating your chum, the chum doesn't make it very far down. So as you're falling, a lot of times there's no chum left for those ahis to come up and kind of nail. So you can see I've kind of pushed all the ahis down now, and I'm right there in that chum slick with the chum. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to get those proper shots at a fish that's going for a piece of chum. So I'm looking around, I'm looking for my fish. I kind of leveled up on this one here. I was like, he's moving real slow and consistent. Took a shot, unfortunately, missed. I'm always shocked when I hit one of these things anyways. They're so small and so fast, but this one right here wasn't meant to be.
There's a little mahi around, keep your eye out.
So while I was throwing out some more chum, I heard a scream. And that could mean a bunch of things, but it almost always means to come over and help your buddy. And maybe he's got a couple fish, maybe he shot something and needs some help with the sharks, or maybe he's calling to the boat and you could go over there as a support diver, get him a second shot, or shoot another mahi. In the case of mahi, many times there's multiple around, especially after you shoot them. So this is pretty intense here. He's screaming for the boat. I swim over there looking for another mahi, but in reality these oceanics were just kind of riled up chasing that mahi around. The way I like to think about sharks a lot of times is if I touch the fish first, it's mine. If the shark touches the fish first, it's theirs. And a lot of times if they bump into it or if they get a taste of it, they're gonna get really, really aggressive and you're not gonna get that fish back. But if you get that fish in your hands, a lot of times you can control it and keep it away from them, and many times you'll land that fish and they won't come into your little circle, your little boundary, and take it from you. So right after Ben got control of that fish, I swam back to the chum line to make sure that no oceanics came in and stole my chum bag. And I dropped a couple more chunks, And this is pretty cool because you'll see this mahi come through, and I knew now that the sharks were gonna be kind of aggressive, but not like insane. Like it's totally doable to land a fish. Like that mahi, it wasn't like he stoned it. It ran far. The sharks were chasing it, but it wasn't completely insane. These sharks were not like super frenzied up yet. So I figured it was safe. Let me see if I can get this mahi right here that comes in. Now, when you have this much time and there's this many sharks around, ideally you want to stone your fish. And that's what I was trying to do here. I have no idea how I managed to shoot it right in the fillet, but luckily I heard it a little bit, so it wasn't taking off swimming. But reality, I should have stoned that fish. I should have taken a little more time. That fish wasn't gonna go anywhere. I could have done that definitely better. When he goes around a flasher like that, my first instinct is to get around it and not let him tangle up. The more he's gonna tangle up and not be able to swim, the more chance he has of getting eaten by the shark. So my job now is to get as close to that fish as possible, pull him in towards me without getting tangled up in my line or getting him eaten by a shark. So that's what I'm doing right now, fighting him in close as I can. I don't want him to tear off. It's, again, I should have stoned this fish, but in the end, pretty stoked, worked out. I actually saw another mahi on it right now, and I was calling for the boat to come and throw me another gun, or drop Ben in or Mike in with another gun so he could take that second mahi and you can get 2 for 1. That happens a lot with mahi-mahi. They just kind of stick together after they're shot, and many times you can end up double, tripling up on one shot on a mahi. I always recommend cleaning up your line and getting the shaft out of the fish and killing the fish before you pass it up to the boat driver. However, in situations like this when there are a lot of sharks, what you can do is pull that shaft through the fish, and that way when you pass it up to your guy, that shaft is not flailing around in the boat, hurting people.
Few sharks in there, huh?
Well guys, that was a pretty cool drift there. Jumped in the water, little sheepy rats all over the place, akus, bait, and then a couple mahis came up. Managed to get these 2 nice ones. Ben actually saw an ono, serious oceanic white tips in there. The boys jumped in for another drift, and then we'll see what they get, and then I'll jump in.
So a lot of times out here on these pads or buoys or structures that you'll find way offshore, you kind of get these like deep water onos or wahoos, and they're just kind of small. A lot of times they seem to be kind of in that, you know, sub 10-pound range, and that's what we saw right here. They were pretty cool to see in the water. I didn't feel like I needed to take a shot on them, not that I had a great shot anyways, but Ben got a nice one for the dinner table. Either way, just super cool to see out here. Anything out here in the blue, cruising around, just living its life out here is just awesome to see. It was pretty incredible how many small akis and akus were out here around this area this day. You can see how many there are, and I really wanted one, but the schooling fish effect is so real. I mean, when there's that many fish around and you're always looking for that one that's just a little bit bigger, it's really hard to focus in on one and take it, especially when it's kind of like one of these mediocre, smaller fish that you don't really need it, but I'm like, I want one of these for sashimi. I buy these on the side of the road all the time whenever I see them. So I was like, there's so many down here, I've got to get one. and you can see how much action there is. I mean, just baby ahis as far as the eye can see. I wish I had a rod this day. I would have had a blast fishing over here.
Jutt is getting thrashed. He's got a freaking tank. I'm right here. Wait, he's got to get it. You want to pass it up?
Yeah.
Pass me the line. Check it out.
Green.
Oh, look at that. Jutt, man. Check that, he's a stud. That was pretty sick. That was the one right there that we saw cruising around. Threw a flasher to it.
Yeah.
Threw a flasher to it, got wrecked, all wrapped up. Oceanic white tips all over the place. Sick. Woohoo! Fire department eats, huh?
Oh yeah, what a shit show. Oh, that's bigger than 30, Mike.
That's a good one, huh?
Yeah, bro. Thank you.
That's done, dude.
Action.
I was like, do I help him or do I film?
Oh, you gotta get a shot with that thing, bro. You got the perfect,
Guys, I had to film for you.
That's like the perfect slip tip placement too.
Nice. Want an iPhone shot?
Yeah, please.
Well, you guys remember how flat it was? It got a little windy out here. I was just saying, I was like, man, we come out here with that little bitty boat we just got, but then this happens, you know? It was really, really flat. Afternoon came along, 3 o'clock or so, and just really, really got windy out here. Check this out, Ben just shot a little bitty Ono. Pretty rad. I watched the whole thing, I watched him stone it. I actually was down there too, had a couple come by, but I decided they were just a little bit small. I think they were even smaller than this one.
So last buoy of the day, jumped in, school of Mahi just cruising around. Ben already got his. I did my shallow little duck dive here, picked out the one that was closest, and again, just got a terrible shot. I mean, really low in the guts. Luckily, it pulled all the way through him right here. And what I want to do if I shoot something like this, and I have the time, is I want to let it run. I want to play it super, super gently, because the last thing you want in the world is to tear off one of these beautiful fish. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm swimming after it. Maybe someone throws me another gun. Maybe the fish just wears out. Either way, I got a better chance of landing this thing if I take it easy. Unfortunately, this thing swam straight for the buoy. And that's what they do when they wanna hide. They're wounded, they think something's attacking them, they wanna go back and get into that shelter. And when they do that, or any fish does this, it's really important to follow it. Like, you want to make sure that it's not getting tangled up, because what will happen is it'll get tangled up on that buoy, and then it'll have a static line. You know, it won't have any play in it anymore, and then it'll just tear right off. We see this happen with wrecks and oil rigs and stuff all over the world, and what's really cool is to kind of manage that tangle, is that in real time, go after it and fix it. And that's exactly what I'm doing right here. I got kind of caught like on a little cotter pin down here. I managed to get down there, untangle it, and then try and follow this fish around. You know, again, I have a really, really bad shot, and my number one priority is to not get tangled up in the line myself, but to also not play this thing too hard so that I can land it and take it easy. Eventually, I managed to clear whatever tangled disaster I had and land a fish that, honestly, I probably did not deserve. You know, those Mahi on the surface always present kind of funky shots as you're shooting kind of up or across, you're in the swell. Again, it's one of those times to take just a little bit more care, because nothing is worse than losing one of these beautiful animals, watching it swim away wounded, never to be seen again, to die and sink to the bottom of the ocean floor.
What's up, you get another one? Oh! Nice bull. Another bull. Nice. The day of the Mahis, huh? Day of the Mahis. Nice fish. Check it out. Chef's still with him. Check it out. It's a pretty looking box right there. Nice day, boys.
That's right.
Yes. The only problem with Ben's boat, I've decided, is it has not a single cup holder on it. Not one cup holder, bro.
Drink your beer
We're
fast.
gonna have a
enough. You
captain's
don't need a
cup
cup
holder
holder.
right there. Don't worry. I was thinking that yesterday when I was driving home.
Not one cup holder.
Yep.